We open with a woman walking in a seedy neighborhood. Tyler meets with his shady drug dealer and in grief for her dead brother buys some drugs because that's a healthy way of dealing with the death of a family member. Just as she's going to shoot up, the streetlights go out one by one and a trench coat-clad figure shoves the needles in her chest as she screams. Well, if you live by the needle, die by the needle? Sorry. And follows Zed's trail into one of the rooms in the mill, an alternate reality in which it's sunny and wind chimes tinkle in the background. Heroes are usually jerks at heart, John says, talking of a Greek myth. Pot kettle, buddy. Zed's hiding from her visions. I guess they don't work in the magic rooms? John tells her to buck up and get back in the saddle. Just as John's suggesting everyone take a break, Manny pops in with a case. He burns the scry map. Let me say that again. He burns the damn scry map. Yes! I never particularly liked that plot device, so I'm more than happy to see it go in a blaze of glory. Manny leaves after that good deed, and John decides to take up the case. And his way into the hospital? Shoving a screwdriver in Chaz's leg. Just one of the prices he paid for being John's friend. Chaz makes an even bigger distraction by ripping the screwdriver out haphazardly, and John and Zed are able to examine Tyler, who's only a few beds away from Chaz. Zed's vision is decidedly angelic, but Taylor goes into cardiac arrest before Zed has a seizure. Jeez, did someone turn Murphy's Law on when I wasn't looking? Zed receives a CAT scan, and John needs to go look at Tyler's corpse. Luckily, Chaz is mostly healed up, so he can come with. Kind of surprised he's able to walk away from the bed without running into a doctor, who should definitely be suspicious on why he's healed so fast. Anyway, in the morgue, where no attendant is working, because that's realistic, John does a magic spell that reveals Tyler's spark of life has been taken. Chaz is told to go back to the mill, and John walks in to visit Zed just in time to hear her medical diagnosis. She's got a tumor, which may or may not be causing her visions. The way to shove in reality there. A biopsy will reveal if it's life-threatening or not. While John's not in complete denial, he's sure trying hard to explain away the medical specifics. Victim number 2, a drinking-on-the-job doctor named Duncan, is attacked in the storeroom, displaying the same black veins Tyler did. As soon as Manny shows up, John is up in his face, commanding him to heal Zed. Unfortunately, Manny declines, and John pulls a fast one on him, cementing Manny to a human body. Powerless now, Manny is basically forced to become John's sidekick, and with no other option available, Manny plays along. Subject to human frailties, Manny upchucks when they find the dead doctor, but the pair are able to ascertain what exactly is killing people. In the past, an evil sorcerer was struck down by heavenly power, but all his evil power manifested into a black diamond. The diamond was broken, and its shards spread throughout the world. You know, there's this anime series called Inuyasha that has the same premise. Anyway, John wants Manny to use his position as a doctor to investigate the victims' records to see if they have anything in common. Manny is stymied by the printing protocol on a computer and is helped by a friendly nurse. She pulls him into a storeroom with the promise of updated files and comes on to Manny, who really doesn't put up much of a fight as she kisses him. John is a shard of the Black Diamond and wants to find out why humans shouldn't touch them. Being the token guinea pig, Chaz volunteers because, why not? The result isn't pretty. The diamond immediately starts to exert its influence and causes Chaz to be violent, but because John is always well prepared, a stun gun resolves the situation. In the hospital, John pages Manny, explaining what the Black Diamond does to people. Instant serial killer! How fun! He teases Manny about his recent sexual encounter and essential human needs before Manny reveals what he found out. Both Tyler and Duncan were addicts, to drugs and alcohol, respectively, and they went back to their addictions after receiving treatment. Zed talks to her doctor about a possible biopsy, and her doctor talks about his past, having served in the military and taking shrapnel in the chest. Yeah, that doesn't sound suspicious or anything. Zed is able to see Manny in his human body and has an honest talk about the origin of her powers. He doesn't so much as answer her questions as just listen to Zed reason the situation out. No easy resolution there. John is looking for Morris, an angry skin graft patient who thinks he might be the Black Diamond Killer. Huh, it's a good nickname. Yet arrives in time to see Morris get killed and is knocked unconscious. Manny discusses Zed's importance to John once he's awake, and John gets rather upset quickly, but during the conversation, John connects the dots, realizing Galen, Zed's doctor, is the killer. Zed refuses to have a biopsy, and Galen tries to talk her out of it. John confronts Galen, and pulls out his own Black Diamond shard. In the hospital basement, Manny, Zed, and John are trapped by Galen, and Zed provides the answer to their predicament. Release Manny from the human he's trapped in and let him take care of Galen has angelic power is the only thing that can fight a Black Diamond's influence. Very convenient, that. The diamond shards left behind once Manny takes Galen into heaven are nice enough to put themselves away afterwards. In a church, John tells the truth, trusting Zed. Every morning he imagines everyone he knows is dead, so when it does happen, it won't hurt so much. Bleak, but honest. Something has changed in Zed, as she can see Manny now when he pops in to check up with John. The angel confirms the powers do come from God, and John walks out, leaving them alone. This is definitely the funniest episode of the series. With Manny grounded, his reactions to the human condition are hilarious. From not being familiar to computers to having sex for the first time, it is a laugh riot. Even Chaz's bits in the hospital are comic gold. What's an impaled screwdriver between friends, after all? The episode has a good balance of humor and drama, as Zed's visions are addressed and dealt with. Given she's a spiritual person at heart, her faith is shaken when she finds out a tumor may be the cause of her powers. Zed chooses to essentially sacrifice herself so she can continue fighting the good fight. John's reaction is interesting here. He's clearly feeling guilty and worried about Zed, but in the end, he reveals in his own way that he cares about Zed and respects her choice. I've never really gotten a sexual vibe between Zed and John, and given that the series was cut in half by NBC, the writers have chosen not to develop that relationship. It works in the show's favor, though, because instead of John mooning over her, she gets to be her own person, which makes for a strong, independent character. I would have loved to have seen the Resurrection Crusade storyline play out, but next season, if there is one, maybe? Manny gets knocked down some, and he's changed from the experience. It reminds me of Castiel in Supernatural. We humans are terrible influences. The one aspect that doesn't really work for me in this episode is the Heart of Darkness plot. It's a bit shaky as a premise, and the execution is fast and loose for my taste. Here, have a disfigured human-type character that's been corrupted by evil! Oh wait, Manny can take care of it? Too easy, mate. There's little to no tension leading up to each kill as well. It did make me laugh a lot, so I give it 4 out of 5. Not perfect, but the humor more than makes up for the story's faults.